Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into something a little unnerving,
Definitely unnerving.
but super important.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about job seeker scams today,
Mm-hmm.
and you've sent in some really interesting sources.
Yeah, we got some good ones this time.
Yeah, you'll want to pay attention to this one,
Oh,
especially with,
yeah.
how the economy's been.
Right. Yeah, it can be a really stressful time to be looking for a job.
Yeah, and that's what makes this whole thing even more,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, absolutely.
important to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even just about the money. It's about the personal information.
Right.
These scammers are after.
Yeah. Identity theft, all that stuff.
Exactly. Compromised accounts, all that.
It's scary stuff.
Yeah, so we need to give you the tools to spot these scams.
Yeah. Give you like a
From a mile away.
radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get into some specifics.
Okay.
One of the sources you sent mentioned the story of Sarah,
Oh, yeah, Sarah.
this recent college graduate,
Yeah, poor Sarah. Classic example
who fell victim to one of these scams.
of how these scammers exploit excitement and inexperience.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she's just out of college,
Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to take on the world.
ready to go, and she thinks she found the perfect job.
Finds it online.
Online, aced the interview.
Oh,
Got an offer that sounded almost
good to be true.
too good to be true.
Which we're going to keep coming back to that.
Which is like the biggest red flag.
Yeah.
But Sarah, she was so excited. She was so caught up in the moment that she just kind of overlooked those really critical warning signs
Oh, no.
and ended up sharing her social security number and bank details over email,
Oh, no, over email.
thinking it was for payroll purposes.
Oh, gosh.
And of course, the job never materialized.
Oh, sick.
And she ended up losing thousands of dollars.
That's awful.
It is.
It really highlights how manipulative these scammers can be.
Oh, they're masters of manipulation.
So let's break down some of those manipulation tactics.
Okay, let's do.
Let's start with something we've all probably encountered. Fake job postings.
Yeah, those are the worst.
What makes them so tricky?
Well, one of the sources you sent, the FTC's data book, it shows that job scams
Yeah.
are more common than you think.
Really?
And they're really clever about it. They
Okay.
often appear on legitimate job boards
Oh, wow.
or even social media.
So it's not even as simple as just avoiding those shady websites.
No, not anymore.
Wow.
Scammers are getting much more sophisticated.
Darn it.
They lift content from real job descriptions.
Oh, God.
They use company logos,
Mm.
even create fake websites
Oh, wow.
to make their whole operation seem legit.
That is scary.
It is, yeah.
So how can you tell if a posting is the real deal?
Okay, so there are a few things to look for.
Okay.
First, pay attention to the language in the job description.
Okay.
Is it vague?
Okay.
Is it filled with jargon?
Okay.
Or does it make these like unrealistic promises?
Like make $10,000 a week from home with no experience.
Exactly. Big red flag.
Yeah, it's all about that too good to be true
Too good to be true. Yep.
factor.
Another thing to look at is the company itself.
Okay.
Have you ever even heard of them? Do they have a professional website? Active social media presence?
So you're saying you should Google the company name
Yes. Google it.
and maybe add scam or reviews.
Exactly.
See what comes up.
Do any negative reports come up?
Okay, so it's about doing your due diligence, going beyond just reading that job description.
Yes, due diligence is key.
Another thing to consider is the application process.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Does it seem overly complicated?
Right, like way too many steps or
Well,
rushed.
Or they want personal information right
It's
away?
like your social security number.
Yeah, way too early in the process.
Right.
Legitimate employers have,
Right.
structured hiring procedures,
Right.
and they take data privacy seriously.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of the hiring process, one of the sources you shared mentioned,
The interview as a point where things can go south.
oh,
I know we've all been through those awkward interviews.
oh yeah, haven't we all?
But what should people look out for that might scream scam?
It's all about recognizing those subtle cues
Okay.
that something's not quite right.
Okay.
Let's say you're interviewing for a remote position,
Okay.
but the interviewer is really vague about the company's location
Okay.
or their client base.
Mm.
Or maybe they try to steer the conversation away from the specifics of the job,
Oh, like the responsibilities?
the responsibilities, yeah.
And focus more on like how much money you could make?
Exactly.
Okay.
That could be a sign that something's amiss.
So it's not just about avoiding obvious red flags,
Right.
but also paying attention to that overall vibe
The vibe, yeah.
and whether things just feel off.
If your gut's telling you something's off, listen to your gut.
Yeah. And sometimes when we get so caught up in wanting to land the job,
Right.
We ignore those warning signs.
We do.
Speaking of playing on emotions,
Oh, yeah.
let's talk about another tactic mentioned in one of your sources.
Okay, which one's that?
The too good to be true offer.
Oh, the classic.
We've touched on this a bit, but why is this such a common
Oh, it's so common.
and effective scam strategy?
Well, think about it. You're in the middle of your job search,
Yeah.
maybe feeling a little discouraged, and suddenly you get this offer
Yeah.
for a position that's like a dream come true.
High-paying, flexible,
Risk.
that you barely even remember applying for.
You're like, wait, what?
Yeah. That sounds almost irresistible.
It does.
Who wouldn't want to believe they just stumbled upon the
Right.
perfect opportunity?
And scammers know how to play on that desire.
They're good.
They dangle this amazing opportunity in front of you,
Yeah.
knowing that you might be willing to overlook some things.
So they're banking on the idea that we'll be so blinded by the potential rewards that we let our guard down.
Yes, exactly.
And often these offers come with a catch,
There's always a catch.
like a request for an upfront payment.
Oh, yeah, for training materials or equipment.
That's the classic pay-to-work scam,
Or
right?
classic.
And it seems so obvious in hindsight.
It does, doesn't it?
But I can see how someone in a vulnerable position might fall for it.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's why it's crucial to remember that legitimate employers
Right.
don't operate this way.
No.
They don't ask for money from job applicants, ever.
Ever. No.
Okay, so we've talked about fake job postings
Right.
and too good to be true offers.
What else do they have up their sleeve?
Yeah, what other tricks do these scammers have up their sleeves?
Lots of tricks.
What about phishing emails?
Oh, those are bad.
I feel like that's something that's become increasingly common, not just in the context of job scams, but just
Oh, in general.
in general.
Yeah.
Phishing emails are a major problem these days,
Yeah.
and they can be really hard to spot.
Mm.
They're designed to look like they're coming from a legitimate source. So they might use like logos and official branding to make their emails look more authentic.
Oh, yeah, all the bells and whistles.
Wow.
And they often try to create a sense of urgency or fear
Okay.
to manipulate you.
So you might get an email that looks like it's from your bank,
Oh, right.
warning you that your account's been compromised,
Oh, no.
urging you to click a link to update your info,
Don't click that link.
and that link leads to a fake website designed to steal your login credentials.
Exactly. And these websites can be so convincing.
So how can you protect yourself from these phishing emails? What are some of the red flags?
Okay, so first, always check the sender's email address.
Okay.
Does it match the official domain name of the organization it claims to be from?
Right, because legitimate organizations use their own domain names.
Exactly.
Okay.
Another thing to look for is the tone
Okay.
and the language of the email. Is it filled with errors?
Okay.
Oh.
Uppos.
So if an email says like, your account will be suspended if you don't click this link to verify your info immediately. Oh yeah, huge red flag.
That should set off alarm bells.
Legitimate organizations don't operate that way.
Okay.
They don't threaten their customers.
Right.
And they don't demand sensitive info over email.
All right. So we've talked about fake job postings,
Right.
too good to be true offers, and phishing emails.
What else? What have we missed?
Yeah. Are there any other major red flags
Oh, yeah.
that job seekers should be aware of?
Well, one tactic that's becoming more common is the fake check scam.
Oh, I've heard about those. Those sound particularly nasty.
They are nasty.
How do they typically work?
The scammer might contact you,
Okay.
offering you a job that involves processing payments or handling money,
Okay.
and then they send you a check,
Uh,
often for a large amount,
oh, wow.
and ask you to deposit it in your bank account.
And I'm guessing the check is fake.
The check is fake.
Okay.
But here's the catch.
Uh-oh.
They then ask you to wire a portion of that money to another account,
Oh, no.
claiming that it's for supplies or equipment or some other business expense.
So you think you're just doing your job,
You think you're doing your job.
but you're actually participating in a scam.
You are.
And what's even more devious is that the check might initially clear your bank,
Right.
making it seem like everything is legitimate.
And then a few days or weeks later,
Yeah.
the bank discovers it was fake,
Oh, no.
and you're responsible for the money that you wired out.
That's awful.
It is.
So it's not enough to just wait for the check to clear?
No.
You really need to be certain that the check is legitimate
You need to be absolutely certain
before sending any money anywhere.
before you do anything,
And if you're ever asked to deposit a check and then wire money to someone else,
especially as part of a job offer.
yeah, that should be a huge red flag.
Huge red flag.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
from Fake job postings to phishing emails to fake check scams.
It seems like they're always coming up with new ways to trick people.
It's clear that these scammers are constantly coming up with new and creative ways
Oh, yeah, they're creative.
to try to trick people.
They are, yeah.
They're getting more sophisticated,
They are.
which is why it's more important than ever to be informed and vigilant.
Absolutely.
Right. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
And I think it's time for us to empower our listeners
Okay, let's do it.
with some specific strategies for protecting themselves.
I like it.
But we'll save that for part 2 of this deep dive.
Okay.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right back with some actionable advice
That's right.
that you can use to stay safe in your job search.
That sounds good.
Welcome back. So far, this deep dive has been all about, recognizing the warning signs of job scams.
Yeah.
And wow, there are a lot.
So many.
But now comes the part you've all been waiting for.
Yes.
How do you actually protect yourself?
Right.
I know you're eager to get out there,
I know.
find that perfect job, but let's make sure you do it safely.
Safely, yeah.
It's like with anything else, a little bit of preparation
Oh, yeah.
goes a long way.
Absolutely.
We talked about how these scammers exploit urgency.
Yeah, they love urgency.
So the best thing you can do is
Slow down.
slow down. Yeah.
Take a breath.
Take a breath.
Don't rush into anything.
Don't rush into anything that feels off.
Right.
Easier said than done.
I know.
Right.
I know.
But I totally get it.
When you're excited about an opportunity
Yeah.
or you feel pressure,
It's easy to let your guard down.
it is, yeah.
That's why having a plan is so important.
Think a plan, yeah.
One of the sources you sent actually recommended creating a checklist.
Oh, a checklist.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
To use when evaluating job opportunities.
Yeah.
Think of it as your job hunting safety net.
Safety net. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could include things like
Okay.
verify the company's website and contact info,
Uh-huh.
check their social media presence,
Yeah.
search for online reviews, and carefully review the job description for any red flags.
Yeah.
Having a checklist would force you to slow down
Yes.
and systematically evaluate each opportunity
Right.
rather than getting swept up in the excitement.
It's so easy to get swept up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can be helpful to have a trusted friend
Oh, yeah.
or family member look over the listing.
Absolutely. A fresh set of eyes.
A fresh perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of fresh perspectives, one of the sources you sent emphasized the importance
Yeah.
of researching the company.
Research is key.
But how do you go beyond just looking at their website?
Yeah, right.
What are some specific resources or strategies you can use?
Well, there are actually a lot of great tools out there.
Oh, good.
LinkedIn is a great place to start.
Oh.
You can look up the company profile, see how many employees they have,
Okay.
check out the backgrounds of their leadership team.
It's almost like you're playing detective, right?
You are, exactly.
Looking for clues
To see if they're legit.
to reveal whether the company is the real deal or a sham.
You got it.
And you can also use websites like Glassdoor or
Yeah.
Indeed
Yeah.
to search for company reviews.
From current and former employees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've used those sites before.
Yeah, me too.
And sometimes the reviews can be pretty brutal,
They can be.
but they're definitely helpful for getting a sense of
What it's really like to work there.
what it's really like. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you see a lot of negative reviews.
Yeah. Especially ones that mention scams.
Yeah.
That should definitely be a red flag.
Okay, so we've talked about creating a checklist,
Right.
researching the company,
Checking those reviews.
and checking online reviews.
Yeah.
What about the interview process itself?
Okay, the interview.
Are there any specific steps you can take to protect yourself
Oh, yeah. Lots of steps.
during an interview?
One of the most important things is to be mindful of the info you share.
Okay,
Don't give out your social security number, your bank details,
right.
or any other sensitive info until you have a formal offer
Yeah.
and you're confident the company is legit.
And if an interviewer pressures you to share sensitive info,
Oh, yeah.
that should be a red flag.
That's a red flag.
Yeah,
Legitimate employers understand
right.
data privacy.
And what about the questions they ask?
Oh, yeah. Good question.
Are there any questions that should set off alarm bells?
Be wary of questions that seem irrelevant to the job
Okay.
or overly personal.
Like if they're asking about your religious beliefs,
Yeah.
your political affiliations,
Yeah.
your family history,
Too personal.
those kinds of questions are not only inappropriate,
Mm-hmm.
but could also be a sign that they're trying to gather information for
Identity theft.
identity theft. Yeah. And it's important to remember that you have the right to refuse to answer any question
You do.
that makes you uncomfortable.
You absolutely do.
You can simply say something like, I'm not comfortable sharing that information
Right.
at this time.
Or, I'm not sure how that's relevant to the position.
Sometimes we get so caught up in trying to impress the interviewer
Oh, yeah, we want to impress them.
that we forget that we have the right to set boundaries.
You do. You have rights.
Yeah.
And a legitimate interviewer will respect your boundaries.
Okay, so we've talked about being mindful of the information you share.
Right.
And setting boundaries during the interview.
During the interview?
What about after the interview?
Oh, after. Okay.
Are there any steps you can take
To verify?
to verify the legitimacy of the company
Yeah.
or the job offer?
One thing you can do is ask for a copy of the offer in writing.
Okay.
This will give you a chance to review the terms and conditions,
The salary, the benefits,
the responsibilities.
and to make sure that everything aligns with what was discussed
Exactly.
during the interview.
Yeah.
And it also gives you a chance to do some more research on the company.
More research.
Now that you have something concrete to go on,
Right. Exactly.
you can use the company's name and contact info
From the job offer.
from the job offer, yeah.
To search for online reviews.
Check their Better Business Bureau rating
Yep.
and verify their registration with your state's Secretary of State.
Very important.
And if something seems off,
Yeah.
if you can't find any info about the company online,
Yeah.
or if the info you do find contradicts what you were told during the interview,
Yeah.
that should definitely raise a red flag.
Absolutely.
And don't be afraid to reach out to the company directly
You can do that.
to ask for clarification or to verify the information.
A legit company will be happy to answer your questions.
And if they're evasive or dismissive,
Ooh, yeah.
that's another sign that something might be fishy.
Could be.
Yeah.
Trust your gut.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground
We have.
in terms of proactive steps
Proactive,
you can take to protect yourself from job scams.
Lots of steps.
But what happens if, despite your best efforts,
Oh, no.
you think you might have fallen victim
Okay.
to a scam?
Yeah.
What should you do?
The first thing you should do is report it.
Report it.
Report it.
To whom?
Well, depending on the scam,
Okay.
you might want to report it to the FTC,
Okay. The Federal Trade Commission.
the Internet Crime Complaint Center,
Okay.
IC3.
Or even your local law enforcement.
Yeah, your local police.
But I know sometimes people feel embarrassed or ashamed
I know.
when they've been scammed,
That's hard.
and they might be hesitant to report it.
I understand.
What would you say to someone?
I would say it's important to remember you're not alone.
Yeah.
Scammers are very good at what they do,
Mm-hmm.
and they often target people who are vulnerable or desperate.
Right.
And it's not your fault.
No.
By reporting it, you're not only protecting yourself,
Yeah.
you're helping to prevent others
From becoming victims.
from becoming victims, right?
And you might even be able to help law enforcement catch the scammers.
You might.
And even if you don't think you can recover the money,
Yeah,
reporting the scam can help create a record of the incident.
a paper trail.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so reporting the scam is a crucial first step.
It is.
What else can people do to mitigate the damage?
Well, if you've shared your bank account info or credit card details, you should contact your bank or credit card company immediately
Yeah.
to report the fraud.
To freeze your account.
Freeze everything.
Because the sooner you take action,
Right.
the less likely they are to drain your accounts
Exactly.
or make unauthorized purchases.
They can do a lot of damage quickly.
Yeah.
And you should change your passwords
Okay.
for any online accounts that might have been compromised.
Especially your email,
Your email, your bank account,
social media.
social media.
And if you shared your social security number or other sensitive info,
Uh-oh.
you should consider placing a fraud alert
Okay.
or a credit freeze.
I've heard of those.
Yeah.
But I'm not exactly sure how they work.
Okay, so a fraud alert is a notice
Okay.
that's placed on your credit report.
Alerting creditors that you may be a victim of identity theft.
So it's like an extra layer of protection.
Exactly. An extra layer.
Okay.
A credit freeze completely blocks access to your credit report.
So no one can open new accounts or lines of credit.
No one, not even you,
Not even me.
until you lift the freeze.
Wow, that's pretty drastic.
It is.
But it seems like it'd be very effective in preventing identity theft.
It is. Yeah.
But it's important to note that a credit freeze can also make difficult for you to obtain credit yourself.
So weigh the pros and cons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about reporting the scam,
Right.
contacting your bank or credit card company, changing your passwords,
Yep.
and considering a fraud alert or credit freeze.
Are there any other steps?
Yeah. Are there any other steps people can take to protect themselves after a scam?
One thing you can do is monitor your bank account and credit card statements
Okay.
for any suspicious activity.
Okay.
You should also review your credit reports regularly.
Because sometimes scammers will try to open new accounts in your name.
Oh, yeah, with the info they've stolen.
And if you see anything suspicious,
Anything at all.
report it to your bank or credit card company.
Immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Okay, so vigilance is key.
Vigilance is key.
And remember, you're not alone.
You are not alone.
There are resources available.
There are.
Speaking of resources, one of the sources you sent mentioned the Identity Theft Resource Center.
Oh, yeah, great resource.
Can you tell us a little bit more about them?
Sure, they're a nonprofit
Okay.
that provides free support and guidance to victims of identity theft.
That sounds like an incredibly valuable resource.
Oh, it is.
They have a toll-free hotline.
You can call and talk to a trained advisor.
That's great to know.
It is.
I'm sure it could be incredibly helpful
It is.
to talk to someone who understands what you're going through.
And can offer some guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they can also help you to create a personalized recovery plan. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this section.
We have.
From proactive steps to
yeah.
actions you can take.
If you've already fallen victim.
You've already fallen victim, yeah.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
But hopefully this will empower our
To
listeners.
navigate the job market safely and confidently.
Safely and confidently, that's what we want.
You know, even though these scams are out there,
Yeah.
they don't have to derail your job search.
They don't.
By being informed, being vigilant,
Uh-huh.
and trusting your gut,
Trust your gut.
you can find that dream job without falling prey
You can do it.
to these predators.
Are you ready for some final thoughts?
I am. Are you ready to dive into some final thoughts and takeaways?
Let's do it.
All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of job scams,
Yeah.
let's talk about the bigger picture here.
Okay.
It's easy to feel kind of overwhelmed
Oh, yeah.
by all this information,
It's a lot.
but I think there's a silver lining.
I think so, too.
What do you think?
Well, one of the most powerful takeaways for me is that knowledge really is your best defense.
Knowledge is power, right? The more you know about how these scams work,
Yeah.
the tactics,
Mm-hmm.
the red flags,
The better you'll be able to protect yourself.
it's like having a superpower, right?
It is.
Being able to see through those schemes.
And avoid those traps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to leave you with.
That sense of empowerment.
Yeah, the sense of empowerment.
Don't let fear paralyze you.
Right.
Use this knowledge. Approach your job search with confidence
Yeah.
and a healthy dose of skepticism.
Speaking of skepticism,
Oh, yeah.
one of the sources you shared talked about trusting your gut.
Oh, yeah. Your intuition.
Yeah, I think that's something we often underestimate.
We do. Our intuition is powerful.
Yeah,
It's often trying to tell us something.
even when we don't realize it.
Yeah, like a little voice.
If something feels off
Listen to that voice.
about a job posting, a company, an interviewer,
Yeah, if anything feels off,
don't ignore it.
don't ignore it.
It's better to err on the side of caution.
Always.
Yeah.
Than to risk becoming a victim.
So trust your gut, be skeptical, and arm yourself with knowledge.
The trifecta.
Those are some pretty solid takeaways.
They are.
But I think there's one more piece to this puzzle,
Okay. What's
and that's resilience.
resilience?
Because even if you do everything right,
Right?
there's still a chance you might encounter a scam.
Yeah, that's true.
So what do we do then?
Well, it's important to remember that even if you do fall victim,
Yeah,
it doesn't define you.
right.
It doesn't mean you're gullible or foolish.
It just means that you were targeted by someone who was
Really good at that job.
good at their job, unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
yeah. But there are resources out there
Yeah.
to help you recover.
Both financially and emotionally,
Exactly.
like we talked about.
The Identity Theft Resource Center, they
Yeah.
can provide that guidance
Yeah.
and support.
And remember, you're not alone.
You're not alone.
Job scams affect people from all walks of life.
They do.
And there's no shame in seeking help.
Absolutely not.
In fact, talking about your experience
Yeah.
can help break the stigma.
And empower others to come forward.
So as we conclude this deep dive,
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you with a sense of hope and optimism.
Optimism.
Yes, job scams are a real and growing problem,
They are.
but with the right knowledge, strategies, and support,
You can navigate the job market.
safely and
I
confidently.
think that's right.
Be kind to yourself,
Yes.
celebrate your successes, and don't be afraid to reach out for help when you need it.
No.
Don't be afraid.
You got this.
You got this.
So until next time,
Stay informed
stay vigilant.
and happy job hunting.
Happy job hunting, everyone.